All right, we're live. Zemo, welcome.
Hi, Mackenzie. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you for coming. How's work?
Work's been pretty good. It's been quite a lot to get used to, sort of a different routine than what I was used to when, I was job hunting or even during like my uni days. But yeah, I'm very much enjoying it. I'm like doing what I like, and yeah, the people are very nice.
Awesome. Do you want to share with people what you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. So currently I'm working as a graduate software developer at an energy company based in Richmond. Um, yeah, I just work across the full stack. So I do some C sharp, I do some React on the front end. And yeah, I've only started in the last 2 weeks. And yeah, I go 5 days a week in the office just for probation currently.
Awesome. And how are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it quite well. I do I'm definitely a big problem solver, so I do really like doing all the software stuff, learning from like really experienced individuals, and like the people here are so nice as well. I mean, I think the environment in dev teams is like something that's so different than what I'm used to. Everybody's always supportive of each other, and it's like always nice to chat to people. And yeah, it's just a really great environment.
Awesome. Love it. And I guess the reason a lot of people are watching this is because they want to be in your shoes. They want to land a software developer job or a nice job. And maybe they're an international student as well. So let's dig into that because it wasn't always easy, was it? It was, yeah, job searching was tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'll tell you about like my journey from the start. So I think I started job hunting when I was last year. I graduated in July, but I actually started job hunting around the March, I think, because I really wanted a graduate role, and I know that starts in the next year. So I remember applying for a lot of these companies. It's either, you get ghosted, or, you do that sort of video interview stage and then kind of get filtered out in some way. And I kind of lost a lot of hope during that time. I think I did make over 100, around 200 maybe applications altogether. But I did have one that actually landed at the time. Like I actually got through to an assessment center, but I wasn't able to convert at that time because I think my interview skills were not very good. And I think that really took a hit on my sort of confidence levels as well. I just felt like, like that was probably my chance to get a job, and I didn't get it. So that was a lot for me to get used to at that time. And then eventually I ended up like applying to a lot more roles, doing like a slight bit of networking here and there. And I had this connection with this guy that was able to get me an interview at another company. So I got through to the interview. At that time, I did practice a bit more, and I was actually able to get the role that time, but they ended up having to cancel the graduate program at that time. So I had to actually fall back once again. I think that was a point for me where I was like, probably at my lowest. I felt very numb. I was like, like, is it actually possible for me to actually get past this sort of stage and actually stay in Australia? So that's sort of when I decided to join grad jobs, because I just thought, maybe the way that I'm approaching things is not the right way. I think I got like 2 or 3 interviews in like the 200 and something applications that I made, which was quite a bad conversion rate. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just stick to a plan. Let's see how professionals do it, and um, yeah, try get put everything sort of into getting a job.
Awesome. Yeah, because you also have a pretty amazing background. I mean, your qualifications are fantastic. You also had some pretty good internship experience. So I think a lot of people in your shoes, they might think, okay, getting a role would be straightforward, but it's funny how so often it's not. It is, even with great experience and all the background, it could be so difficult. So I think a lot of people empathize with that. And so what did you change when you decided to kind of switch things up? What did you change, and what kind of difference did it make? Did it make a difference?
Yeah. So when I decided to switch things up, So that was around January. Like it was the new year. I was like, you know what, like new year, new me. Like let's stick to a sort of schedule and like not deviate from that sort of schedule. And so when I joined Grad Jobs, it was very easy because they give you a sort of very um, structured framework to follow so that you can actually reach your sort of goal. So like first thing I think was something about like knowing exactly what sort of roles you want to apply for, like where you see yourself in your career. Then it's about, you know, tailoring your resume, making that LinkedIn look very nice, making yourself very like a very employable person. And then the next two steps are like networking, and then finally like interview skills and things like that. So it was quite a, once I did join Grad Jobs, it was quite a sort of um, easy path to follow, and all I had to do was stay diligent. So what I changed in my daily life was, before when I was job hunting, I'd usually just like, you know, wake up in the morning, I'd go on my computer, I'd like apply to like 3 or 4 jobs. Even if I wasn't qualified, I'd be like, you know what, whatever. I'm just gonna send my resume. You never know what happens. You know, 1 in a million chance, could be good. It's a numbers games. So I was like, okay. This time I was gonna take a different approach. So I remember every day for like, I think 2 or 3 months, I would wake up at like 9 o'clock. Sorry, not wake up at 9 o'clock, but I'd get to the library at around 10 a.m. And then I'd spend all that day in the library until like 5 p.m. All 5 days of the week, because I wanted to get used to that sort of working schedule and to keep myself sort of very motivated. So I didn't really like staying at home because I did find there was a lot of distractions for me. I'd rather be in a place where everybody's, you know, working. Um, and during this time, another thing that I changed was, instead of applying for jobs, I actually spent a lot of time looking at how I make myself a bit more employable. So that was things like connecting with a lot of people, sending messages out, tailoring my resume, changing my LinkedIn, um, and working on, because I'm in software, so a lot of the things I had to do was like make personal projects or like keep up to date with your skills. And yeah, those are the main changes that I made. Sort of keep on a sort of diligent schedule, and, you know, take into account everything that the Grad Jobs framework tells me to do.
Awesome. So a little bit more structure, a little bit more networking, optimizing the resume and the LinkedIn, getting into
Yep.
a new environment. And it sounds like you were kind of grinding pretty hard at that point. Like you really were pushing. Would you say you were pushing harder than before?
Oh, I was absolutely pushing harder than before. Like before, it was just me applying to jobs, and then like I think I'd spend maybe an hour or two a day, like just applying and like hoping something lands. And at that time, like I was feeling like really stressed, you know, because like there's only a certain amount of jobs you can apply for before you get like bored of it. And yeah, there's only a certain amount of jobs as well. And so like that time was very, very stressful for me. But once I found that I can actually put in a good structure and was like very diligent with what I was supposed to do, I found myself becoming actually really motivated. So it actually, after a while, it was not very difficult for me to stick to that schedule, because I knew every day I was like, oh, it's a Monday. Okay, I've got to message 50 people, send out, I don't know, like 2 or 3 resumes, maybe work a bit on this personal project here and there. Oh, I've got a coffee chat on this Tuesday and things like that. So it was like definitely a lot more motivating. So I didn't really, I guess I did have to work hard. Like obviously it's not easy to just like constantly do this stuff with sort of very little result, but I definitely think I was working a bit harder than I was last year.
Mm. That's really interesting. And do you think that was because you had more structure, like you had a clear plan to follow? So you, when you woke up, you knew, okay, I know what I need to do. I'm just going to do it. Was that what it was, or was there something else?
So it was that. Um, I think one thing that was very difficult for me during my job hunt was actually just like seeing the people around me like have their jobs and like go about their lives, and you know, have their careers, while I wasn't able to actually, you know, get past that stage. And so there was a lot of sort of mental work that I had to do for myself. I had to sort of be like, you know, a job doesn't really define you. It's like you can't find value in that. It's more that, you know, just because you don't have a job doesn't mean you don't have value. It doesn't mean that you don't have skills. It doesn't mean that you're not, qualified for something. It's just that, maybe it's you need to put a bit more time into it, and things will happen naturally in life as long as you work hard towards it. And so a lot of the time I had to find myself like motivating myself by that could be things that just like I've done enough work today. Let me take some time to do something a bit more fun. Spend some more time with my friends. Not you sort of put everything, like put your whole mind into job hunting. You should work hard, but there's other stuff that's going on in your life that you need to care about. So taking care of your mental health was incredibly important for me, and just keeping myself motivated and knowing that the friends around me like are supporting me and things like that were really empowering during that time.
That's awesome. So you were really grinding during the day, but then you knew when to just kind of cut it off, go, okay, I'm going to enjoy myself now. I'm going to relax now. Tomorrow I'll get back at it again. So you had a bit of balance there.
Yeah, I think it's very important.
Fantastic. All right. So you started doing all these things. I also saw, I think you had some coaching sessions with some of our team. I think Erin, Shivam, Wei Tao, maybe?
Yeah.
As well. So you had some coaching as well. How was that? Was that valuable? Yeah. How was it helpful? Or was it helpful?
Yeah, it was definitely very helpful. I think what I was struggling, most of the stuff I actually generally knew, like in terms of like the good best resume structure. Like I kind of knew exactly kind of what I wanted to do. LinkedIn as well, like I generally knew. But when it came to networking, that was a whole different beast that I'd never like really faced before. Because like I don't know, networking is like quite awkward, right? Like you're just like hitting up people, and like you don't even know if they're gonna respond to you, and if they do, like what do you say? It's like very, I don't know, putting yourself out there is very difficult, and so I really needed that help from the team, and I think Erin and Wei Tao really helped me. Sort of be like, you know what, it doesn't even matter, like just send your messages out. Like the worst thing they can do is just like not respond, right? And who cares if they don't respond? And the thing is, like, most people on LinkedIn know that it's a platform for you to connect with the people, and they know that people are there to look for jobs, and so it's not a bad idea for you to like ask for some sort of a resume pass or referral or something, or lead to something like that. Like it's not like like the two-faced sort of thing. So like that's what they really taught me, and it really helped me get over that like fear of getting rejected. And yeah, that's when I just started sending out like hundreds of messages every day, because I just generally didn't care. Even now, like I think I still network with a couple of people here and there, because it's really good for career growth. But yeah, I think the fact that they were able to just be very structured in the way that they helped me was really helpful, and was like, you know what, you don't really need to worry about things like that, as long as you go about things the right way. And if you put in the work, it should be okay. Wei Tao was really good in helping me structure my responses like very exactly, so that I could send out a template. I could send a lot of templates at once. And Erin just generally kept me, I think, like quite motivated during most of it, and like very confident that I could definitely land a job at some point. Yeah, they're very supportive for sure.
Awesome. I'm really glad. Okay, so you did all these things, made all these changes, got some guidance, particularly on the networking side of things. And what happened after that? What were the results?
Do you mean like results in general? Like,
yeah, like because you mentioned before you were job searching for quite a long time, had a couple of interviews, you changed things up. You're now trying the networking, and you did some applications as well, a bit of both.
yeah.
What happened next? Like, did you get some coffee chats or some interviews, and how did you end up getting your full-time offer?
Oh yeah. Okay. So after I started networking, I actually, when I first started, like a couple of responses, and I saw that as a good like result. So I kept these conversations going on the LinkedIn platform, like online. But then I talked to Erin, and she's like, I think it's like quite difficult to keep an online conversation going. There's like no flow, and it's like people respond every like week or so. So she was like, you know what? Try to push for an in-person coffee chat as quick as possible, so that you know you can get there. Like you don't have to waste too much time. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna be very straightforward with it. I'm like, okay, if you have time, like, yeah, let's have a coffee chat. And so I ended up getting quite a lot of coffee chats after that. I think altogether, around like 10 to maybe 15, somewhere there. This was only in the span of like 2 or 3 weeks. And what I found, those coffee chats, even though only one of them led to a job, the other ones like really helped me understand what it takes to be a software engineer, firstly, and how to talk to professionals. Like just because a coffee chat might not lead to a job doesn't mean that it's like useless. It's a lot of information that you can actually use in your actual interviews, and it kept me ready for interviews. And so like even when I had my interview at this company, like it was like 2 days notice, and I just came in and I had the interview, and it was like pretty chill. So it really helped me keep up with those skills. But I definitely did get a lot of coffee chats after like I got this sort of advice and sort of started networking a bit more. In terms of how I got this job, so I had a coffee chat with one of the software developers in this company, and he was able to actually push my resume. It wasn't even like a referral. It's like he just gave my resume to the to the IT manager, and then they brought me in for an interview with actually a different role than the current role I got. So the role that first came out for this company was, it was like half software and half like customer facing role. So it wasn't really what I wanted to do, but I was like, you know what, can't hurt to interview and can't hurt to, you know, um, get a job that's like half software. Maybe you can, you know, transfer into a software role in the future. So I was very happy. I was like, you know what, let's do it. And I interviewed for that one, and I think the interviewer really liked me, and so he actually like recommended me to the IT team, which I didn't even know there was this developer's position coming up. Like at that point, there was no developer position. So he referred me to that developer position team. Then their job posting came out, I think like a day or two later. They had like 600 something applications. Like I was definitely not feeling very confident in my ability to, you know, execute. But then I ended up having a coffee chat with that IT manager as well, where we actually just talked about like our enthusiasm for software. I didn't even say anything about the job or anything like that kind of hints towards, oh, can you give me a job sort of thing. It was more like, you know, like I love software. What do you love about software? And like we just talked about our personal lives and things like that. And I think he really liked that. And then after that, he gave me a call and he was like, okay, do you want to interview in the next 2 days? You'll probably be one of our last applicants. I was like, yeah, sure. So I came in for the interview. We had the interview. I left, and then yeah, after a week, they said that I got the full-time role, and I was like, definitely very excited for it. So it wasn't a very like straightforward sort of journey, but I don't think most ways that people find jobs is very straightforward. So yeah.
Amazing. So in the end, it was really that personal connection that probably got you the offer.
Well, yeah, it was that personal connection that got me like the interview, you know? It was like, it was the first time I had an interview in like 2 or 3 months. Yeah, I was kind of stressed for it, but I did know that I had the ability to execute. And then in the interview itself, definitely it was a lot more conversational than it was formal. We obviously went through the questions and like, you know, all the HR stuff, but I did find myself like, you know, entertained at points, and you're talking like it's a friend sort of thing. And it helped a lot for sure.
Awesome. And do you have any tips for people who are job searching right now, or people who were in your shoes maybe a few months ago?
In terms of tips, I guess there's quite a lot. I think the biggest thing is just trying to keep yourself motivated. It's such a big hurdle to get past, but it's definitely so worth it. You just gotta spend that time doing it. Constantly put in the work. Talk to the people that you need to talk to. I never think that like the coffee chat thing. I had a lot of friends that were like, I don't really want to do a coffee chat because it's like if I don't get a job, it was not worth it at all. But that's not necessarily true. You can learn so much about people and the industry that you're working in, and just practicing your communication skills with actual software engineers or whatever your field may be. Networking, definitely a big one. I think you should definitely do it, even if the job that you get is not through networking. Like, I think eventually in your career, you're going to have to do some sort of networking to get to get that career progression. But yeah, just keep yourself in that good headspace. Even though it's like time consuming, it feels like people are getting on with their lives without you. And it's just like people have different times in their lives, and yeah, something will definitely land at some point. You just got to keep going, keep moving.
Awesome. And what do you think's the biggest mistake people make, especially graduates?
You mean like finding jobs?
Yeah.
Right. The biggest mistake. Well, I think in the beginning, it's like a lot of people think finding a job is a numbers game, and so people won't really tailor their resumes or do networking or things like that to get a job. They're kind of just like, okay, I'm just going to apply, and maybe one of them will land at some point. But I think it's definitely a bit more than that. If you can sort of create this character profile of a very professional person, it definitely makes a difference for sure. So that includes your networking, that includes your tailoring your resume, making your LinkedIn look nice so that when they look at it, they're like, oh shit, like this guy looks like an interesting dude to work with. And yeah, just like simple things like that, just to make sure that people know that this guy could be worth hiring. And all you need is one interview, or like 2 interviews, right? And then you've got a job. But it's just getting those interviews, which is why you need to make yourself look good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, so we can finish up there if you like. Is there anything else you want to say to people watching?
I guess I just definitely want to thank you, Mackenzie, and like your whole sort of program. Definitely took me out of a little bit of a hole that I was in, a lot of things that I was going through. So yeah, definitely want to thank you and the team, Aaron, Anchoby, Shivam, Weitao, everyone that helped me, and just keep me motivated during this time, and yeah, like give me that hope that I can actually definitely stay in the country.
I'm very grateful that we could have you as a client. I've heard some amazing things about you. I wasn't personally involved in coaching you or mentoring you, although I did create some of the resources that you would have gone through. But yeah, you're definitely one of the most awesome clients we've had. So it's an absolute pleasure, and excited, hopefully, to have you come back and mentor for us at some point if you're free.
Absolutely. Would love to pass on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, I'll finish the recording up there. But it'd be great just to quickly chat with you if you have a couple minutes as well.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Thanks. See you guys.